Hi, I am Krishna Kishore. Today we are going to discuss dislocation theory of fracture, that is in failure mechanisms in material technology. So as a professor in mechanical engineering, so this is customary to speak about dislocation theories. The various theory of fractures may be observed. In this session, we will discuss the dislocation theory of fracture. Now, what is dislocation theory of fracture and what are the various theories which describes dislocation theory? Let me discuss the various theories which describes dislocation theory of fracture. The first one is Griffith criterion. This is a very famous criterion which describes dislocation theory. The second one is the modified Griffith theory, which is actually represented as Irwin theory. These two represents the dislocation theory of fracture. Let me discuss the first one, that is Griffith criterion. What is Griffith criterion? Observe the definition or the statement of Griffith theory. What it says. The Griffith theory states that a crack will propagate when the reduction in potential energy that occurs due to crack growth. Here, the first half of the sentence says that a crack will propagate when the reduction in potential energy. So that means the crack propagation is completely depends on the energy that is happened or that is observed in the material that occurs due to crack growth is greater than or equal to the increase in surface energy due to the creation of new free surfaces. This point is very important. Which one is greater than? Here, the crack has to propagate in the material has to resist it. This particular sentence is important to understand the Griffith theory and to which material this Griffith criterion applicable. So please observe this theory is applicable to elastic materials that fracture in a brittle fashion. So that means even though the material is elastic, the fracture may be in brittle fashion. Let me discuss the Griffith criterion with the help of some simple image. Let me take a material that is a glass fiber. This is a glass fiber. Assume this is a glass fiber and it is under tension, sigma. Tensile force is applied on the glass fiber. You can observe a flaw, a microscopic flaw here of length equal to A. Now, here we have to analyze how this flaw reacts and how this flaw or crack propagates in the material when the tensile force is applied. So that means how the stress create impact on the microscopic flaw. So all these things are observed in this experiment. So that means these experiments on glass fibers suggested that the fracture stress increases as the fiber diameter decreases. So that means this diameter, when this diameter decreases, this stress increases due to why this is happened? Due to the presence of microscopic flaws in the bulk materials. So that means if the flaw is observed in this bulk material, automatically the stress increases when the diameter decreases. This is one observation by Griffith. Then how Griffith identify this theory? Please take this sentence here. He identified the various flaws by doing some experiment. He introduced an artificial flaw in his experimental glass specimen. That means he has taken some glass as a specimen and introduced an artificial flaw and he conducted the experiment. When the flaw is existed, that means when the artificial flaw is existed, how the various stresses are impacted. If you observe this sentence, this is the conclusion given by the Griffith. After the experiments, he concluded that the product of flaw length, that is the square root of the flaw length, and the stress at fracture are almost constant. Please observe the equation here. This equation clearly says that sigma f means stress at fracture, A means flaw length is approximately equal to C. C means constant. So this is approximately equal to constant. The product of these two approximately equal to constant. Let me discuss with one more example. Before going to that, observe this sentence here. This is clearly explains how the energy is balanced according to Griffith criterion. The energy approach states that crack extension. What do you mean by crack extension? Crack extension means if in initial stage it is represented as a crack, if it is extended, then it can be represented as a fracture. So it completely depends on the material resistance. If the material resistance is more, then crack may not propagate. If the material resistance is less, the crack will propagate in the material. So that means the crack propagation or the fracture will be observed. It completely depends on the strength of the material or resistance of the material. So what do you mean by material resistance? What are the various material resistance? You can observe this sentence here. The material resistance means it includes surface energy is one of the material resistance, plastic work or other types of energy dissipation associated with a propagating crack. So all these things are included as a material resistance. If all these things resist the fracture or the crack propagation or the crack extension, then automatically the crack may not propagate. So this is identified by Griffith and he concluded as a energy balance. We will take some example here. Let us take a fiber to explain this theory. Consider a plate here subject to a constant stress. Constant stress means on the total surface. On this surface, here also sigma, here also sigma, here also sigma. On the total surface, sigma is acting, and the length of the flaw is assumed as a 2a here. You can see that consider a plate subject to a constant stress sigma which contains a crack 2a long. The length of the crack is 2a. Here we have to assume some points here. The first point is the plane width must be greater than 2a. This width, the width of this, whatever the plate you have taken, that must be greater than 2a. Otherwise, we cannot solve the problem or conclude the theory. And the second assumption is plane stress conditions. Whatever the formulas that we have taken here, all these are plane stress conditions. Whatever the conditions that we have taken, all are plane stress conditions only. Now, what is the formula given by the Griffith by doing all this energy balance? Now, you can see the sentence here. The Griffith energy balance for an incremental in the crack area dA under equilibrium condition can be expressed. How he has expressed the formula? Please observe the expression given by the Griffith here. dE by dA that equal to d pi by dA plus dWs by dA equal to 0. Here, what do you mean by E, pi and WS? Please observe here where the E means total energy. Pi means, what do you mean by pi? Pi means potential energy supplied by the internal strain energy and external force. This is represented as a pi. And WS means work required to create new surfaces. This is E, pi and WS. Now finally, it is denoted as a minus d pi by dA equal to dWs by dA. So this is given by Griffith, and this criteria is modified by Irwin, and he has given his own formula, and that theory can be represented as a modified Griffith theory. Let us discuss the Irwin theory now. What is Irwin theory, or we can say that modified Griffith theory? So here the statement is like this: for ductile materials such as steel, although the relation still holds, the surface energy, the main important point is surface energy predicted by Griffith's theory is usually unrealistically high. So that means whatever the theory given by the Griffith, sometimes it looks like the higher values. Unrealistically, it is not realistic values. So that's why Griffith has to modify his theory, and it is given by Irwin. So that's why this is represented as a modified Griffith theory. And to who the materials applied here. So Irwin applied the various materials. Please observe this figure explains the Irwin theory. You can observe the crack propagation, the plane strain, how the plane strain when the stress is happened, and the after the strain. After stress, this is the material when the strain is happened. So this is the material means as the applied load increases. That means if you increase the load continuously, the plastic zone increases in size until the crack grows here like this. And the elastically strained material behind the crack tip unloads. So this is between plane strain and plane stress. This figure is for plane stress, this figure is for plane strain. This sentence clearly says that how the material reacts to the stress and strain. And you can observe other salient features here. The plastic loading, so that means the permanent loading and unloading cycle near the crack tip leads to the dissipation of energy as heat. So that's why the dissipative term here has to be added to the energy balance relation. So that means which is not used by the Griffith. Here Irwin has used this dissipative term, which is added to the energy balance relation devised by Griffith for brittle material. So that's why Irwin has a given new statement here, and he has approached two parts here. That means he has divided his theory into two parts. First one is the stored elastic strain energy, which is released as a crack grows. This is the thermodynamic driving force for fracture. This is the first statement given by the Irwin. The second statement is whatever the dissipated energy, which includes plastic dissipation and the surface energy, all these things are the dissipated energy provides the thermodynamic resistance to fracture. Whatever the dissipation energy, that is very, very important. It has added dissipation energy. So by concluding these two statements, he has identified the formula and he has modified the formula like this. That means the total energy given by the Irwin strategy is like this. G equal to 2 gamma plus Gp. So what do you mean by gamma and what do you mean by Gp? Gamma means surface energy and Gp. P means plastic and Gp means plastic dissipation. That means which is dissipation from other sources also. P stands for plastic and this is per unit area of crack growth. And finally the modified version of Griffith's energy creation can also be written as, so that means this is the main formula. This can be written in another form like this. Sigma f into root of, that is square root of A stands for flaw length, equal to root of E, capital G and divided by pi. Here already we know all these things. That is A stands for flaw length and sigma f stands for the stress at fracture and the E stands for total energy that is given by the Griffith and G stands for the energy given by the Irwin and the pi stands for potential energy supplied by the internal strain energy and external force. This is the modified Griffith energy criterion or modified Griffith's formula, which is given by the Irwins. So these two are, that is Griffith and Irwin, these two theories clearly explain what the dislocation theory fractures. So this is all about dislocation theory fracture, which is in failure mechanisms. Thank you. I hope you understood the theory behind dislocation theory of fracture. I'm Krishna Kishore signing off.